Perhaps believing that it will be easy to deal with operation outside of a heavily populated area. Was liberated, but a new theater also emerged in the process. So, consequences of some actions which favorable for inhabitants of urban Maiduguri, but turned out to be another theater of war. One other area that we probably will want to talk about is to increase policing capacity in this country. Some of us are old enough to remember that there was a time in this country when the police in the villages had mounted troops, which means the first responder was the police force, and from one village to the other, even in terrains that were not motorable, they could use the horse to patrol and to take care of issues, like the speaker says, to nip them in the bud before they become major national issues. So we probably have to increase our policing capacity. Well, the guest speaker is here to also suggest that the mounted troops, if it does not exist, should be reintroduced. Although criminals have now moved from, they have gone motorized into the use of motorcycles, which at some point the Nigerian Army had found it necessary to also come up with a motorcycle platoon or battalion or company, I can't remember now. But so all in all, our special guest of honor, our speaker has given us a very wonderful lecture, and my job here is to basically give an overview and add from my outsider's perspective as an academic some of the few points I have given. But generally, I have learned more in this lecture about the need for security in our forested zones than I'm able to give you any additional input. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for those remarks. With our remarks from Professor Kyari Mohammed, I shall now most respectfully crave the indulgence of the Commandant to please invite our special guest of honor, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General O.O. Oloyede, Nigerian Army Medal, ably represented by the Commander Defense Headquarters Garrison, Major General A.M. Alechenu, to make his remarks on the lecture. Special guest of honor, sir.
Our esteemed guest speaker for the day, Mr. Adeola Ajayi, the Director General, Department of State Services, Mr. Femi Shatoyo. Shotayo. Sorry for that. Our resource persons, Professor Kyari Mohammed, the immediate past VC of Nigerian Army University, BU, the Commandant, Army War College, Nigeria, my brother and good friend, Major General Kali, the Commandant, Chadok, Nigerian Army, ably represented, the Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, also represented, the Commander, Army Headquarters Garrison, who is also represented, our highly revered former commandant, I've not seen anyone, but it's here, very senior officers, both serving and retired, the Deputy Commandant, Director of Studies, other directors of the college, highly revered members of external faculty, distinguished members of faculty, participants of Army War College Nigeria Course 9 2025, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. As rightly mentioned, I am Major General A.M. Malichenu, the Commander, Defense Headquarters Garrison. As you all know, the Chief of Army Staff is unable to be with us this morning for the graduation lecture. As such, I have a very simple task this morning to deliver his remarks. But it's going to be a two-pronged approach. First, I will sum up the lecture, giving my own perspective, before I will read the remarks of the Chief of Army Staff. Now, we will answer this question by stating, that our security environment is witnessing significant volatility, with threats increasingly spreading into the forest reserves. Before I go further, I want to give you some empirical facts. Currently in Nigeria, we have over 1,160 forest reserves. We have 29 game reserves, and we have 8 national parks. I just want to correct the guest speaker. He mentioned 7 of them, and he omitted the Chad Basin National Park. The Chad Basin National Park is one of them, so there are 8 only all. We have the Gamsha Gumti in Taraba State and Adamawa. We have the Kayenji Lake, which is in Niger and Kwara states. Then Cross River in Cross River State, obviously. We have the Old Oyo in Oyo and Kwara states. Then the Kumuku in Kaduna and Niger State. Then the Chad Basin in Borno and Yobe states. Then Okumu in Edo State. And lastly, the latest on board is the Yankari National Park in Bauchi. So these forest reserves have suffered neglect over time and are poorly secured, making them, of course, we have said, it's safe haven for criminal elements, bandits, terrorists, kidnappers. With specific example, Kumuku National Park is estimated to cover about 1,100 square kilometers. And Kumuku National Park is in the northern Nigeria, covering Kaduna, Katsina, Niger, Zamfara, and Kebbi State. This park alone is a sanctuary for over 100 camps of bandits. And each camp, has a minimum of about 300 armed bandits in each of these camps. There are about 100 camps in Kumuku National Park. And each camp has a minimum of about 300 armed bandits seeking sanctuary there. Now, the Sambisa Forest, you all know, in Borno State, is a safe haven for Boko Haram and ISWAP. So our current to secure this forest using local security outfit is not yielding the desired result. Therefore, there is the need for the whole of government and whole of society approach, which include an integrated framework to forest security in Nigeria towards enhancing national defense. The big question is, why is it imperative to develop an integrated forest reserve security in Nigeria? What is the importance? First, we will answer this question by stating what an integrated forest reserve security means. What do we mean when we say integrated forest reserve security? An integrated forest reserve security is a coordinated approach that combines environmental management, technological surveillance, interagency collaboration, and community participation to protect forested regions from illegal exploitation, encroachment, and security threats. When properly implemented, it can provide substantial benefits to national security. And these benefits, we have quite a number of them, but I just listed some. One, it prevents cross-border crimes. Secondly, it detects and neutralizes bandits' illegal camps in situ. Then it reduces the threat of guerrilla warfare and also the threat of asymmetric attacks. Another benefit that can be derived from this integrated arrangement is that it will protect critical national forest resources for economical sustainability. It will also encourage collaboration among the military, security agencies, and local communities towards promoting trust, which is very key. Then, we should also look at enhancing state presence in these ungoverned spaces. Most of these forests are totally ungoverned. There's no government presence. That is why it has become a sanctuary for criminals. Then lastly on my list, it promotes sustainable development and peace building in adjoining forest communities. So I would like to conclude this aspect by saying that we just have to come together to protect Nigerian Forest Reserve, because it is already a domain of warfare within our security landscape. By adopting an integrated approach, our forest reserve can be effectively safeguarded against threats that undermine environmental sustainability, national interest, and national defense. So that concludes my sum up. Next, I'm going to read the remarks. So when you hear me say I, those are not my words. That's from the Chief of Army Staff. Now to the remarks. It is my pleasure to address you this morning on the occasion of the graduation lecture of the Army War College Course 9. I feel honored to share this special occasion as we kickstart activities that will culminate in the graduation lecture later this week. On this premise, I wish to express my gratitude to the Commandant and the entire college management team for inviting me as a special guest of honor for such an important occasion. While thanking you for the invitation, it is worthy to commend and congratulate the Commandant, Army War College Nigeria, members of the college faculty, and the entire Army War College community for successfully training another set of operational level planners and commanders who are ready to do their bit to tackle the security challenges facing our dear country. The lecture, titled Imperative of Integrated Forest Reserve Security for National Defense, has been very insightful. Let me therefore sincerely appreciate the guest speaker for honoring our invitation to speak on this highly topical issue. There is no gainsaying that the lecture delivered this morning was in-depth, thought-provoking, and most relevant to our national security realities. Forest reserves, once regarded mainly as ecological and economic assets, have in recent years assumed critical importance in Nigerian security landscape. The vastness, dense cover, and remoteness of these reserves have made them attractive sanctuaries for insurgents, terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal groups. Left ungoverned, they undermine state authority, threaten lives and property, and erode national stability. Conversely, when properly secured and managed, these forest reserves can enhance national defense by denying safe havens to adversaries while supporting livelihoods, environmental sustainability, and economic resilience. The lecture highlighted several challenges such as forest spaces, poor mapping and monitoring, weak interagency coordination, and exploitation by criminal elements. These do not only hamper security operations, but also fuel instability across regions. Indeed, forests like Sambisa, Kamuku, and Brindingwari have demonstrated how unprotected reserves can be exploited to sustain terrorism and other violent crimes. The path to addressing these challenges approach involving government intervention, community engagement, surveillance, and joint security operations. Alongside these challenges, however, lies enormous opportunities. If these forests are integrated into national defense planning, interagency collaborations are strengthened, investments are made in modern monitoring technologies such as drone and satellite imagery, including military dominance of these spaces, Nigeria can secure these spaces effectively. The ongoing operations such as Hadinkai, Fasanyama, and White Stroke stated resolve in dominating forested terrain, dismantling 9 sanctuaries to adversaries.